brothers and sisters of the Sahel, proud sons and daughters of Africa. Hear me now, for the winds of betrayal are blowing once more from across the seas, and we must stand firm against them. What is this so-called operation that the United States has launched in Nigeria? I tell you, it is no noble endeavor, no act of goodwill. It is a naked agenda, a sly maneuver to plant their military boots firmly in Sokoto, that ancient heartland of our northern brothers. Why Sokoto? Because it stares across the border at us, at Burkina Faso, at Mali, at Niger, the unbreakable alliance of Sahel states. They seek to counter us, to encircle us, to choke the life from our sovereign dreams. The Americans whisper of security, of fighting terrorism, but we know the truth. It's a base for their drones, their spies, their endless meddling in African affairs. A fortress from which to launch their shadows against our rising sun. The United States has never meant good for us. Never. From the slave ships of old to the coups they engineered in the shadows, from the resources they plundered under the guise of aid to the wars they fueled for profit. They come with smiles and promises, but leave behind chains and chaos. Africa has bled enough from their interventions. We in the Sahel have cast off the yoke of France, and now they think they can slip in through the back door? No. We see you, Washington. Your hypocrisy shines brighter than the desert sun. And what of the Nigerian government? They should have known better. They, who share our blood, our history, our struggles against colonialism. How could they open the gates to these wolves? But the puppet in the seat, that blind figurehead in Abuja, he won't see it. He's too busy looting the nation's treasures, stuffing his pockets with the people's oil, the people's gold, while the masses starve and the borders weaken. Corruption dances in his halls, and foreign powers pull his strings like a marionette in a tragic play. Wake up, Nigeria! Your leaders betray you for a handful of dollars, while the real enemy fortifies itself on your soil. We are at war, my people. At war with imperialism in all its forms. The Sahel is no longer a playground for outsiders. We are prepared, forged in the fires of revolution, armed with the will of our ancestors and the unity of our alliance. Any foreign invader who dares cross our thresholds will meet the fury of a people who have nothing left to lose but their chains. We will counter them, not with words alone, but with vigilance, with strategy, with the unbreakable bond of the AES. The AES, the Alliance of Sahel States. This is no fragile coalition, no paper tiger to be poked and prodded. We are a force born of necessity, tempered by jihadist threats and colonial scars. Delve deeper into this, my brothers and sisters. Our alliance is a shield against the vultures circling above, a sword against those who divide us. We share intelligence, we train together, we trade without the chains of foreign currencies. But it's more than that. It's a vision of Pan-African sovereignty, where Burkina Faso's farmers stand with Mali's miners and Niger's warriors. The Americans fear this unity because it exposes their divide-and-conquer games. They plot in Sokoto to sow discord, to fund proxies, to whisper lies that pit brother against brother. Yet we grow stronger each day, our borders fortified not just by soldiers, but by the resolve of millions who say, no more. And to you, President Tinubu. Yes, I address you directly, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the man who sits in Aso Rock like a king on a borrowed throne. Hear my words, carried on the Harmattan winds from Ouagadougou straight to your ears. Stop this puppetry. Cease dancing to the tunes of foreign masters who pull your strings from afar. You, who claim to lead Africa's giant, have become nothing but a marionette in their grand theater of domination. The choice is yours, stark and unforgiving. Resign now, step down from that seat stained with compromise, or stand up, for once. For your people, for Nigeria's sovereignty, for the dignity of the Black Continent. Look at the mess you've wrought upon the Nigerian government, Tinubu. Your administration reeks of chaos and self-interest, a whirlwind of scandals that have hollowed out the nation's core. From the fuel subsidy fiasco that starved the poor while enriching your cronies, to the economic policies that bow to IMF dictates, driving inflation through the roof and leaving millions in despair. You've turned the naira into a beggar on the world stage, devaluing it at the whims of Western bankers who lend with one hand and strangle with the other. Corruption festers under your watch, ghost workers on payrolls, contracts awarded to shadows, Resources siphoned into offshore accounts while schools crumble and hospitals lie empty. You've alienated your youth, the End SARS generation who rose against brutality, only to face more repression. And now, this betrayal with the Americans. Inviting their operation into Sokoto, handing over strategic soil that could become a launchpad against your own neighbors. What legacy is this? A government in tatters, a people divided, a nation on its knees before outsiders? You're blind, Tinubu, willfully blind, to what the US is truly using you for. They dangle aid and partnerships like bait on a hook, but their real game is control. This base in Sokoto isn't about fighting Boko Haram or securing borders. It's a chess move against the AES, against our push for independence from neocolonial grips. They use you to fracture West African unity, to keep Nigeria as a compliant giant, too entangled in their web to roar against exploitation. Remember Libya. Remember how they toppled Gaddafi under the guise of humanitarianism, only to unleash chaos and grab the oil? That's the playbook, and you're the latest chapter. Your blindness stems from greed, from the allure of power propped up by foreign approval. You ignore the warnings from history, from Lumumba, from Sankara, my own guiding light, who saw through such deceptions and paid with their lives. Delve deeper into this blindness. It's not mere ignorance, but a calculated denial. You surround yourself with yes-men and foreign advisors who whisper sweet nothings about strategic alliances, while the US builds its network of AFRICOM outposts, spying on our communications, arming factions to destabilize us. They use you to counter our resource nationalization in the Sahel, to ensure that Nigeria's oil flows their way, not ours. How many times have they promised development, only to leave pipelines leaking and communities poisoned? Your policies echo their agenda, privatizing everything from power to ports, handing keys to multinationals while your people queue for bread. This isn't leadership. It's servitude. Wake up before it's too late, Tinubu, or history will judge you as the enabler who sold out West Africa to the highest bidder. And now, I turn my gaze across the Atlantic, straight into the eyes of the man who fancies himself the world's sheriff, Donald Trump. Listen well, Trump, for these words are a thunderclap from the Sahel, echoing through your gilded towers. You cloak your ambitions in the veil of fighting terrorism in Nigeria, but I see through the smoke of your bombs. Those strikes in Sokoto? They're not about justice or security. They're the first salvos in your insidious plan to invade our sacred lands, to pierce the heart of the Sahel under the banner of counterterrorism. You think we don't know? We know. Your drones buzzing over Nigerian skies, your operations conveniently targeting areas that border our alliance. These are footholds for your empire, excuses to flood our region with your troops, your weapons, your control. You aim to dismantle the AES from the shadows, to crush our independence before it fully blooms. But mark this, your plans are laid bare, exposed like a thief in the marketplace. Power is transient, Trump, fleeting as a mirage in the desert sands. The United States, that once mighty colossus, is crumbling day by day, eroded by your own divisions, your endless wars, your grasping for relevance in a world that's waking up. Your grip slips, alliances fracture, economies falter, and the people of the globe turn away from your bullying. You strut and tweet, but the tide is turning, empires fall, and yours teeters on the brink. Remember Rome. Remember the British? Your turn comes, faster than you imagine, as nations like ours rise unbowed. You, Trump, are nothing but a dictator in president's clothing, a blustering autocrat hiding behind democratic robes, wielding tariffs like whips and threats like scepters. You bark orders to the world as if it's your personal fiefdom, silencing dissent at home while preaching freedom abroad. Hypocrite! Your America First is code for America Only, trampling sovereign states underfoot. Hear me, Trump. This is not Iran, where you schemed sanctions and assassinations to bend a proud people. This is not Iraq, where your lies about weapons birthed endless bloodshed and chaos, leaving a nation in ruins for your oil barons. This is not Venezuela, where you plotted coups and blockades to starve a government that dared defy you. No, this is Africa, the cradle of humanity, the forge of resilience, where empires have come to die. We are not your playground, not your proxy battleground. Deviate from your neo-colonial agenda, Trump. Turn away now, before the flames consume you. Let Africa breathe. free from the suffocating grasp of your interventions. Let our resources, our gold, our uranium, our oil, serve our people, not line the pockets of your corporations. For too long, you've extracted our wealth, installed puppets, and sowed division to keep us weak. But no more. The Sahel awakens, and we demand what is ours. Delve deeper into this neo-colonial rot. It's a centuries-old playbook, rewritten with modern drones and digital espionage. You feign concern for terrorism, but who armed the jihadists in the first place? Your CIA's ghosts haunt Libya's fallout, spilling instability into our sands. You prop up corrupt regimes like Tinubu's, dangling aid to secure bases, while ignoring the root causes. Poverty you exacerbate through unfair trade, conflicts you fuel with arms sales. Your AFRICOM sprawls across the continent like a spider's web, from Djibouti to Ghana, now eyeing Sokoto as the next node to ensnare us. But why? Because the AES threatens your monopoly. We trade in our currencies, mine our resources for our benefit, ally with powers beyond your control. Russia, China. They offer partnerships without strings, while you demand submission. Your fight against terrorism is a Trojan horse, smuggling in troops to guard pipelines, suppress uprisings, and counter our Pan-African surge. We owe you nothing, not gratitude, not allegiance, not a single grain of our soil. Your debts are to us, for the slaves you stole, the borders you drew, the leaders you assassinated. The bill comes due, Trump, and the Sahel stands ready to collect. And to you, the resilient people of Nigeria, farmers in the fields of Kano, traders in the markets of Lagos, students in the halls of Abuja, warriors in the shadows of the north. Hear this call from your brother in the Sahel. Do not allow Tinubu to lead you deeper into this mess, this quagmire of betrayal and decay that threatens to swallow your nation's soul. He stumbles forward blindly, dragging you all with him into alliances that serve only the powerful, leaving crumbs for the masses. Your streets flood with unrest. Your economy gasps under the weight of his misguided reforms. Your youth wander jobless while foreign interests feast on your wealth. This is no accident. It's the fruit of a leadership rotten to the core, one that prioritizes photo ops with imperialists over the cries of its own citizens. Wake up, Nigerians! Do not let him steer you further into the abyss where recovery becomes a distant dream. Don't let Tinubu, with his selfish ambitions, sell Nigeria out in a deal so entangled it will be nigh impossible to escape. His greed knows no bounds, a man who rose through the ranks on promises of change, only to entrench the same old elite games. Look at how he courts the Americans, offering up Sokoto like a sacrificial lamb, all while his pockets bulge with the spoils of office. This sellout isn't just a base, it's a noose around West Africa's neck, tightening with every drone flight, every secret pact. Once entrenched, these foreign forces dig in like ticks, draining your sovereignty drop by drop. They'll claim it's temporary, a partnership, but history screams otherwise. Bases become permanent, aid morphs into debt traps, and your resources, oil from the delta, minerals from the plateaus, flow outward to fuel their machines, leaving your hospitals barren, your schools in ruins, your children hungry. Tinubu's selfishness blinds him to this. He sees only short-term gains, alliances that prop up his fragile rule amid protests and economic turmoil. But you, the people, pay the price. Higher prices at the pump, blackouts that stretch into weeks, insecurity that claims lives daily. Delve deeper into this treachery. It's a web spun from decades of post-colonial manipulation, where leaders like him are groomed in Western capitals, schooled in neoliberal doctrines that preach privatization as salvation. He dismantles subsidies not for efficiency, but to appease IMF overlords who demand austerity for the poor while granting tax havens to the rich. His renewed hope agenda? A facade masking the handover of ports to Dubai tycoons, farmlands to agribusiness giants, and now military soil to Uncle Sam. This sellout hardens like concrete. Once the US base in Sokoto takes root, evicting them means war, sanctions, or worse. Your economy becomes hostage, your politics puppeteered, your youth recruited as cannon fodder in proxy conflicts. Tinubu's cronies grow fat on commissions from these deals, while inequality festers, breeding more Boko Haram, more separatist fires, more despair that pushes migrants across deadly deserts. It's a cycle designed to keep Nigeria dependent, a giant forever on its knees, unable to join the AES in true solidarity. Don't let him bind you to this fate. It's a prison of his making, walls built from corruption scandals like the padded budgets, the electoral manipulations that stole your voices, the suppression of voices like Sowore or the NSARS martyrs. Rise now, Nigerians. Rise in the spirit of your forebears, from Awolowo to Abiola, from the women of ABA to the strikers of today. Say no to neocolonialism, that insidious beast that wears new masks but devours the same way. No to the economic hitmen who rewrite your laws for profit. No to the military adventurers who turn your lands into battlegrounds for their geopolitics. Say no to puppets like Tinubu, who bow to Washington while ignoring the whales from Maiduguri to Port Harcourt. No to bad government that starves education to fund lavish jets, that ignores flooding in the East while building vanity projects in the West. This is your moment to reclaim the narrative, to forge a Nigeria that stands tall beside the Sahel, not as a divided vassal but as a united force. Delve deeper into this uprising call. Neocolonialism isn't just tanks and treaties. It's the subtle poison in trade agreements that favor multinationals over local farmers, forcing you to import what you could grow, bankrupting small businesses under the weight of foreign loans. It's the cultural erosion, where Hollywood dreams replace Nollywood pride, and Western NGOs dictate your policies under the guise of development. Puppets like Tinubu thrive in this system, elected through rigged systems bankrolled by external forces, then repaying the debt by opening doors to exploitation. Bad government manifests in every pothole-riddled road, every bribe demanded at checkpoints, every election promise broken. It breeds apathy, but also revolution. Remember the fuel protests, the Twitter bans, the youth-led movements that shook the foundations? That's the spark. Rise against the fuel price hikes that Tinubu imposed without mercy, against the currency floats that enriched speculators while devaluing your savings. Say no to the security failures where bandits roam free because resources are diverted to foreign partners who care more about countering Russia than protecting your villages. This bad governance is a cancer, metastasizing through nepotism, appointing unqualified allies to key posts, like the central bank maneuvers that crashed the Naira. Neocolonialism feeds it, using puppets to maintain the status quo, preventing reforms that would nationalize resources, build regional alliances, or invest in African-led security. But you can sever these chains, through mass action, through demanding accountability, through aligning with brothers in the AES who have shown the way by expelling French forces and reclaiming mines. Don't wait for the mess to deepen. The sellout hardens with time, embedding spies in your institutions, data centers harvesting your information, alliances that isolate you from true Pan-African progress. But fear not, my fellow Africans, for the alliance of Sahel states stands as a formidable bulwark against these tides of oppression, a rock unyielding in the face of imperial storms. We are not a fleeting pact scribbled on fragile paper. We are a living fortress, built on the blood and sweat of our revolutions, fortified by the unbreakable will of our peoples. Delve deeper into our strength. The AES is a symphony of sovereignty, where Burkina Faso's resolute farmers merge their harvests with Mali's vigilant miners and Niger's indomitable nomads. We have purged the parasites of old, expelling French troops who leached our lands for decades, reclaiming our gold mines from corporate vampires, and forging military bonds that turn scattered defenses into an iron shield. Our joint battalions patrol borders once porous to jihadists and smugglers, sharing intelligence that outsmarts the drones of distant overlords. Economically, we thrive beyond their chains, trading in our own currencies, bypassing the CFA franc's colonial shackles, and investing uranium profits into schools, hospitals, and roads that uplift our villages. Our anti-terror operations, Operation Harmattan, the coordinated strikes, have reclaimed territories where extremists once ruled, proving we need no foreign saviors to secure our sands. Politically, we embody Pan-Africanism reborn, drawing inspiration from Nkrumah's vision and Sankara's fire, rejecting ECOWAS puppets to form a bloc that prioritizes African solutions for African problems. We train our youth not as mercenaries for outsiders, but as guardians of our destiny, equipped with rifles and resolve. This formidability isn't just in arms, it's in our cultural revival, where griots sing of unity, and festivals celebrate our shared heritage against the erosion of Western media. We counter disinformation with truth, building alliances with BRICS nations who offer technology without tyranny, infrastructure without indebtedness. The AES is a beacon, illuminating the path for Chad, Guinea, and beyond to join us, expanding our might exponentially. Yet, this strength draws from a deeper well. the spirit of our ancestors, from Sundiata Keita to Samori Touré, who resisted empires with spears and strategy. We are formidable because we are self-reliant, turning desert challenges into innovations. Solar-powered defenses, community militias, regional trade hubs that starve the neo-colonial beast. And so, I call upon every African who holds Africa in their heart, from the bustling streets of Dakar to the highlands of Addis Ababa, from the shores of Cape Town to the markets of Cairo, to rally in support of our liberation. This is not just the Sahel's fight. It's the continent's awakening. Delve deeper into this sacred duty. If you are a teacher, educate the youth on our stolen histories, unmasking the lies of colonial curricula. If you are a worker, strike against exploitative firms that ship our raw materials abroad, demanding fair wages and local processing. If you are an artist, paint murals of resistance, compose anthems that echo across borders, amplifying our call. If you are a diaspora soul in Paris or New York, remit not just money but mobilization. Lobby against AFRICOM expansions, expose Tinubu's betrayals in global forums, fund our cooperatives that bypass Western banks. If you are a leader in waiting, like those in Senegal or Ghana, reject IMF loans that mortgage your futures, and align with the AES for a united front. This support isn't charity, it's investment in a liberated Africa where resources fuel our hospitals, not their wars. Where our children dream in Swahili and Hausa, not imposed tongues. Where borders drawn in Berlin crumble under our unity. Delve even further. Liberation means dismantling the mental chains, rejecting the inferiority myths peddled by Hollywood and Harvard, embracing Afrocentric science that harnesses our biodiversity for medicines, our sun for energy. It means building intra-African railways and digital networks, free from surveillance by Silicon Valley spies. Every African with heart must act now, for hesitation invites invasion. Support us by boycotting neo-colonial brands, protesting puppet regimes, and forging grassroots networks that mirror our alliance. We in the AES provide the vanguard, but victory demands your voices, your votes, your valor. Together, we shatter the yoke, birthing an Africa where dignity reigns supreme. The time for words wanes. Action beckons. Long live the AES. Long live a free Africa. We shall prevail.